Hello friends, and welcome to yet another episode of Let's Learn a Microsoft 65 topic, and this is the seventh episode. In today's episode, we will learn from simple Power Apps functionalities like get current user manager, get current date week number, set drop-down choices with SharePoint List Choice column, and a uses of patch functions where we will save the drop-down values in SharePoint. Before I start, I recommend you to subscribe to my channel Sync Ventures, YouTube channel Sync Ventures. Follow me on Twitter, LinkedIn, and also connect with me on my blog as well. So let's get started. So to start with, I have already created a SharePoint list in which I have only two columns, title and the city. City is a choice column, as you can see here. And I have three options only: Örebro, Stockholm, Copenhagen. And I have also created an empty canvas app in the Power Apps in which I'll be displaying the functionality which I'll be talking in the video. So the first stuff is that we will get the current user manager. So the scenario can be like that you want to send approval mail to the current user's manager. So for that, you should be able to get the manager of the current users, right? So how to do that? First, we will connect our Power App with the data. In this case, we'll be using Office 365 users as we can get all the user information from there pretty easily. So you can click on the left link, Office 365 users, and like this. And now you can see in our app, we already have Office 365 users data connected. Now to show the current users manager, I will insert a label, and then I can write a function like this. Office 365 users dot manager user so sorry so we should call the user function dot email, and yeah, that's it. So that should work. Actually, not email, but we should use mail, and that's why it was giving error. So now you will see that it will work. And we need the mail of the Office 365 the manager, right? So we will use this. Okay, Office 365 users dot manager user dot email, sorry, email, and then that mail dot mail. So this is how we can get it. So in my environment, I have set my another account as my manager. So that's why we were able to see Office 365 users dot manager. So basically, you can see that we are calling a function manager in which it takes, a user principal name or the email address. So I'm getting the current user's email from user.email, and then I want to display the mail. So I said dot mail. You can display some other information also, like if you do a dot here. So you can see we can have city, company name, country, department, display name, given name, ID. So whatever you need, you will be able to get. In this case, we are interested in the mail. So we'll just type in mail here. And then you can see we are able to get the current users manager. So that is how we can do it. So the next topic is the get current date week number. So imagine that you are building an app and you want to display the current week number, right? So in a lot of countries, week number is something is quite widely used, especially in Scandinavian countries. Like I live in Sweden, and there are a lot of cases where they want to display the week number instead of the dates, So how to do that? So for that also, we will go back to our Power App, and we will insert another label here. And for this also, we have to write a function for the text. So how to do that? So I already have the function, so I will copy and paste it, and I will explain that. So this is basically a numerical kind of a function. So we have, year minus weekday minus 1 plus 4, and like that, and plus weekday. So based on today's date, it will calculate and divide by 7 to get us the week number. So I will be posting this formula in my blog, and also in the YouTube description, and you will be able to have a look at there. So as you can see, it displays 49, which is the current week number. Okay. So if we need to get into the details, round down, round up, now minus date, and we are trying to get the current date minus year, date of the current year, and that is how, plus weekday, what the weekday is right now, and then uh, we are doing a plus 5 and divided by total of 7, and that should give us the week number. Okay. So that was the second topic, which was pretty easy. Then we have set drop down choices with SharePoint List Choice column. So in this example, what we are going to do is to input a drop down here. So in this drop down, we can of course add values from our side, hard coded values. But what we want is to get the drop down columns choices from a SharePoint list. Okay. As you remember, I showed you we have a list here, and we have the city in which we have 3 choices, right? And those are the choices I want to display here rather than this default one and the other, whatever we hard code. So for that also, we have to write a formula. You might think that we can connect it to the SharePoint and get the values directly from this drop down, but that will not work. But the first step is, of course, to connect to a connector or SharePoint connector. So we will do that. So from the left in the data section, you should say SharePoint and select the SharePoint. And here we will input the site URL, so it's easy to find. And we are interested in Power App Data Store list, so we will connect to that, right? And then here you will see that we have Power App Data Store, but you will see that we don't have the column which I have created, that is the city column, right? So we have to write a formula for it. We can't take it from here. If it's a text column like title, then you will be able to get it, but not as the choice. Okay. So to write the formula, it is also not so difficult. So let's have a look. So we should say there's a function called choices, and then we should input the source, our source, and in this case the list name is Power App Data Store dot the column name. So that is coming as city, right? And then that's it. So now you can see we have 3 options here. If I play this, you will see Örebro, Stockholm, and Copenhagen. So that is how we can display um, the choices from SharePoint in Power Apps directly, and that is pretty useful so that you don't have to hard code the values. Okay. And so the formula is pretty simple. You use the choices, the source name, and the column name, dot column name. And it's very important that you first connect the data source, otherwise it will of course not work, right? So that is how we will do. The fourth thing what we are going to show today is patch function. So how to push the drop down values in SharePoint. Um, So here in this app, you can see that we have input a drop down from in the form, but it is not really connected to our SharePoint. It is connected to SharePoint in terms of choices, but if we have to save the data, we have to save it through some functionality, so it will not get saved automatically, you know. So to do that, we will first add a save button in our app. So let's input button. I will drag it down bottom, and then the text I want to say is save, right? And the on select functionality here, this is where we will write our function. Okay, so to write our function, so that whatever is selected in this drop down, we want to save it to the SharePoint. Okay, so how to do that? So we will say patch function, and then we have to input the source, and in this case the source is Power App Data Store, that is the list, right? Then we have to input a record. So patch is to insert an item in SharePoint, and for that we have to write something like default. So this is like creating a default item here, and here we will input the name of the list again. Then we have to give curly braces. So this is the format. So now you can see that my save button doesn't have any of the errors, but we haven't told the in the record what we need to update, right? So what we need to do is we need to first give the column name title. So the title is default there in SharePoint, right? So that we have to input. In this case, I will input a pre-made value. What we are interested is for the other city, right? So we will input city, and then I will say drop down one, and this column is actually, this drop down name is drop down one dot selected. So remember to select selected and not selected text, because that is how it works. And now our function is completed. So you can see what we have to use: patch, source, that is the SharePoint list, defaults, it's like creating a default item, you know, and then we update the values. So for the title, I am hard coding value, like click here. And for the city, I'm saying please select the selected value from the drop down. So if you have multiple drop downs or other types of columns, you have to just continue here, write your formula. So that is how it works. So let's play this Power App, and let's say I select Stockholm and I click save. So now I think the data is saved. So let's have a look. So you can see, click here, Stockholm. That is how it is saved. So it was pretty simple. And I'll be giving this sample in my blog and also in the description of the video. So you can read it there if you want to copy it. So those were the simple topics from today's episode. What we discussed was 4 things: get current user manager, get current date week number, set drop-down choices with SharePoint list choice column, and the use of patch function. Okay, so that's it for today, and thank you for watching the video. If you like the video, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and also like and share with other people. Thank you. Thank you for today.